Good morning, children. In today's English class, you are going to learn Supplementary Reader Unit 3, The Midnight Visitor, which is written by Robert Arthur. Now, let's learn about the author. Robert Arthur was a writer of speculative fiction known for his work with the Mysterious Traveler radio series and for writing the Three Investigators, a series of young and adult novels. Without any further delay, let us get into the lesson, children. Let us see the introductory part of the lesson. The story is about a witty secret agent named Ausable. He was with a writer named Fowler. Throughout the evening, as Fowler was interested in spending time with the secret agent, but when he spends time with Ausable, he realizes that he is exactly the opposite of what he had imagined and that he was a bore. Now look at the text, children. Ausable did not fit any description of a secret agent Fowler had ever read. Following him down the musty corridor of the gloomy French hotel where Ausable had a room, Fowler felt let down. It was a small room on the 6th and top floor, and scarcely a setting for a romantic adventure. Ausable was, for one thing, fat, very fat. Children, in the first paragraph, we have seen the two major characters. Ausable, who was a secret agent, which means spy. The other character is Fowler, who was a writer. Fowler, the writer, imagined about Ausable because in films we have seen that secret agents are looking tall and they are surrounded by many ladies with guns, whereas Ausable did not fit any of the description of a secret agent. Generally, secret agents would live in a bright room, but Ausable preferred living in a dark room. All these things made Fowler felt let down, which means felt disappointed. And he further said that Ausable was known for only one thing, that was fat. Ausable was very, very fat. Children, let me tell you some qualities of a secret agent. Tall, dark and handsome. They usually have beautiful women for company. They would always smoke a cigar. Okay, children. So all these features are not at all there for Ausable. Ausable is the main character of this story. Okay, children. Fowler, the young writer, who expected all these qualities in Ausable, felt very much disappointed, but he'll come to know that Ausable is a very, very intelligent person. So we are going to see all those things in detail in the rest of the paragraph, children. I hope all of you might have understood this paragraph. Let us move on to the second paragraph, children. Look at your book and understand the line by line explanation. And then there was his accent. Though he spoke French and German possibly, he had never altogether lost the American accent he had brought to Paris from Boston 20 years ago. You are disappointed, Ausable said wheezily over his shoulder. You were told that I was secret agent, a spy dealing in espionage and danger. Children, look at the meaning of difficult words. Possibly means in an acceptable manner. Wheezily means breathe with a whistling sound. Espionage means spying. Let me explain you this paragraph, children. Here, the author says that Ausable's accent was acceptable, though he spoke French and German in an acceptable manner. He did not lose his American accent. And further, Ausable asked whether Fowler was disappointed on looking at the appearance of Ausable. And for that, Fowler said that Ausable told him that he was a secret agent, a spy, and he was dealing in espionage and danger, but he did not look like, and his appearance was not at all like the one who deal with all these. So children, this is how they both started talking. And now let us move on to the next paragraph. Children, listen carefully. You wished to meet me because you are a writer, young and romantic. You have envisioned mysterious figures in the night, the crack of pistols, drugs in the wine. Instead, you have spent a dull evening in French music hall with a sloppy fat man who, instead of having a messages slipped into his hand by dark-eyed beauties, gets only a prosaic telephone call making an appointment in his room. Children, in this paragraph, Ausable understood Fowler's intention, asked him several questions. At first, he said that you might have expected the person in different features and qualities, whereas you are looking at me mysteriously. You are a young and energetic writer. You might have met so many secret agents, but I may be looking a quite different man. Like that, he was telling to Fowler. Further, he said that instead of spending your time with a secret agent in a bright romantic room, you are spending your time in a dull, gloomy room with a sloppy fat man. You might have expected me with beautiful ladies and guns, but you are able to see me only with prosaic. Prosaic means normal telephone. Prosaic telephone means normal telephone. So Ausable had only one thing. He had a prosaic telephone. He was using only that for making an appointment. If somebody else is in that place, they would have had all the features and qualities of a real secret agent. So children, this paragraph goes on like this. Since Ausable was an intelligent person, he read whatever is there in the mind of Fowler and he exposed all those to Fowler himself. So, a secret agent must have all these qualities. He didn't have all those, but what else he would have? We are going to see all those details in detail. Now look at the next paragraph, children. You have been bored. The fat man chuckled to himself as he unlocked the door of his room and stood aside to let his frustrated guest enter. You are disillusioned, Ausable told him, but take cheer, my young friend. Presently you will see a paper, a quite important paper, for which several men and women have risked their lives. Come to me. Someday, soon, that paper may well affect the course of history. So children, here in this paragraph, they are discussing about an important paper. As a secret agent, Ausable must protect the paper, and in the further paragraph we are going to see how Ausable has protected the paper safely from the opponent. Look at the next paragraph, children. In that thought is drama, is there not? As he spoke, Ausable closed the door behind him. Then he switched on the light, and as the light came on, Fowler had his first authentic thrill of the day. For halfway across the room, a small automatic pistol in his hand, stood a man. Ausable blinked a few times. Max, he wheezed, you gave me quite a start. So, children, here in this paragraph, when they were both talking about the very important paper, Ausable closed the door behind him and he switched on the light. When he switched on the light, there was a sudden shock. There was a man standing there with a pistol, automatic pistol. On seeing him, Fowler was in an authentic thrill. Authentic means real thrill. He was really thrilled. Looking at the man, Ausable was also shocked and he used his name Max. So, the third person is known to Ausable. Have you guessed this, children? Understood this? Ausable further asked Max, you gave me a start, quite a start, which means gave me a surprise. So this is how this paragraph gets over, children. Let us move on to the next paragraph. I thought you were in Berlin. What are you doing here in my room? Max was slender, a little less than tall, with features that suggested slightly the crafty pointed countenance of a fox. There was about him, aside from the gun, nothing especially menacing. The report, he murmured, the report that is being brought to you tonight concerning some new missiles, I thought I would take it from you. So, children, this is an important paragraph. Max had come to Ausable's room to get the important paper forcefully from him. Actually, Max was a slender, which means thin. He was little less than tall and he was featured slightly crafty. Crafty means clever, and his nature was compared with the fox. Actually, Max had a gun, only that was the problem. Menacing means causing trouble, and apart from that, nothing else to tell about Max. Max was not a dangerous person, but the pistol that he had was the dangerous one. And further, Max asked Ausable about the important paper. Now look at the next paragraph, children. It will be safer in my hands than in yours. Ausable moved to an armchair and sat down heavily. I am going to raise the devil with the management this time, and you can bet on it, he said grimly. This is the second time in a month that somebody has got into my room through that nuisance of a balcony. Fowler's eyes went to the single window of the room. So, children, understand, listen carefully. Here in this paragraph, we should understand that there was only one room. In that room, there was only one window. Okay? And meaning of I am going to raise the devil means going to argue or fight. Here in this paragraph, when Max asked about the important paper, Ausable told him only one statement, that the paper would be very safe in my hands. Soon after saying the statement to Max, he sat in an armchair and he talked irrelevantly. He said that he is going to fight with the hotel management, saying that that was the second time in a month that somebody had got into his room using the balcony. But actually there was no balcony, there was only the window. Okay, children, now look at the next paragraph. It was an ordinary window against which now the night was pressing blackly. Balcony? Max said with a rising inflection. No, a pass key? I did not know about the balcony. It might have saved me some trouble had I known. It is not my balcony, Osable said with extreme irritation. It belongs to the next apartment. He glanced explanatorily at Fowler. Children, you have to understand clearly that Osable is building up a story in order to divert Max's attention. Actually, there was only a window in his room, but he said that the balcony of the opposite room is attached to that, and one can easily escape, come in or come out of the window using the balcony, he said. So if that balcony is removed or controlled, no one can disturb Osable. So this is how Osable built up a story. Meanwhile, Max and Fowler were listening to him. Okay, children? Look at the next paragraph. You see, he said, in this room used to be part of a large unit, and then the next room. It had the balcony which extends under my window now. You can get onto it from the empty room 2 doors down, and somebody did last month. The management promised to block it off, but they haven't. Max glanced at Fowler, who was standing stiffly not far from Osable, and waved the gun with a commanding gesture. So in this paragraph, he further extends about the balcony. The story is being extended by Osable. He says in detail about the balcony that there was a balcony under his window, and the hotel management promised Osable that it will be blocked off, but they haven't taken any step regarding this. And Osable and Fowler were standing closer. Fowler was scared, whereas Max was standing with a commanding gesture. Look at the next paragraph, children. Please sit down, he said. We have a wait of half an hour. I think 31 minutes, Osable said moodily. The appointment was for 12:30. I wish I knew how you learned about the report, Max. The little spy smiled evilly. And we wish we knew how your people got the report, but no harm has been done. I'll get it back tonight. Here in this paragraph, Osable asked Max how he knew that he is going to get the paper, and further Osable said that he is going to get the paper only after half an hour. And for that, Max replied that he would wait and he would collect the paper from him. The word evilly means dangerously. Okay, have you understood this paragraph, children? Now let us move on to the next paragraph. What is that? Who is at the door? Fowler jumped at the sudden knocking at the door. Osable just smiled. That'll be the police, he said. I thought that such an important paper as the one we are waiting for should have a little extra protection. I told them to check on me to make sure everything was all right. Max bit his lip nervously. So children, such an amazing person Osable was. See how he has planned. Here in this paragraph, there was a knocking sound from the door of Osable's room. When the knocking sound came from the door, Max was shocked and he asked him who would that be. For that, Ausable replied that that would be definitely police, since they are going to deal about the important paper. He asked for extra protection. Children, all these are the story that was built up by Ausable. You must understand this carefully. Now look at the next paragraph, children. The knocking was repeated. What will you do now, Max? Ausable asked. If I do not answer the door, they will enter anyway. The door is unlocked. And they will not hesitate to shoot. Max's face was black with anger as he backed swiftly towards the window. He swung a leg over the sill. Send them away, he warned. I'll wait on the balcony. Children, do you think there is a balcony? No, isn't it? Look here, he says that he will wait in the balcony. Since there was a continuous knocking of the door, Ausable asked Max what he is going to do. For that, Max replied him he will wait on the balcony. And further, Ausable built up some more extra in his story, that if he does not open the door, definitely they are going to open the door because the door was not locked. Look at the next paragraph, children. Send them away or I'll shoot and take my chances. The knocking at the door became louder and a voice was raised. Mr. Ausable, keeping his body twisted so that his gun still covered the fat man and his guest, the man at the window grasped the frame with his free hand to support himself. Then he swung his other leg up and over the windowsill. So here in this paragraph, showing the pistol, Max threatened Ausable that he would kill him using his pistol. So through the windowsill, he has kept his second leg also outside. Have you understood, children? Now look at the next paragraph. The doorknob turned. Swiftly, Max pushed with his left hand to free himself from the sill and dropped to the balcony. And then, as he dropped, he screamed once shrilly. The door opened, and a waiter stood there with a tray, a bottle, and 2 glasses. Here is the drink you ordered for you when you returned, he said, and set the tray on the table, deftly uncorked the bottle, and left the room. So, children, I hope you might have guessed what would have happened to Max. So, Max would definitely have fallen down from the window because there was no balcony, as Ausable said. Okay, children, so this is how Ausable used his intelligence through this story. So he excellently built up a story and he used his presence of mind and managed himself to escape from Max. Look at the next paragraph. White-faced Fowler stared after him, but he stammered, "The police." There was no police, Ausable sighed. Only Henry, whom I was expecting. But won't that man out on the balcony? Fowler began. No, said Ausable. He won't return. You see, my young friend, there is no balcony. So this is how the story ends, children. Fowler was in a shock. He did not know what is happening around him, and he asked a question to Ausable whether Max will come back. For that, Ausable said that he will never ever come back because there was no balcony. He would have fallen down and he would have died. I hope all of you might have understood this story, children. And I hope you might have understood the intelligence and witty nature of Ausable. We know very well that Ausable did not fit to the qualities and features of a secret agent, but at the end we can clearly understand that he is a perfect secret agent. So this is how he saved the very, very important paper to safeguard the country. I hope all of you might have understood today's video. I hope this video will be very useful for you to learn this lesson. See you through the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day, children.